Hello, my beautiful Gemini friends. Welcome to December 2021. What an interesting time of year for Geminis. I think especially this December because next month in January 2022, the North Node is moving out of your sign. So January or December is kind of the last full month of North Node in Gemini. And I think that's so interesting because it's this nice bookend of thinking about what we've been working through since May of 2020 until this month and into the very beginning of 2022. And that brings up a whole bunch of reflection. This is also mirror season for you all, right? So the sun is in Sagittarius, the Mars moves into Sagittarius. There is this new moon and total solar eclipse in Sagittarius. We're working a lot with the energy of Sag, which is your opposing sign, and also brings up questions about, how you view yourself, how you view your relationships, and how you show up to the world in general. So in a lot of ways, this is a very introspective December. It's also the month with Venus doing her retrograde work. And the last time we had a Venus retrograde was also around the time the North Node moved into Gemini. And that was in May 2020. So December is so much about taking a breath and really embracing all we've been through the last year and a half and who we want to become next. And I'm really strong this month in all of the readings and saying, we each need to decide what we want this December to mean for ourselves and be really deliberate about it and not let even teachers like me, but anybody, any Instagram accounts or anything that we're kind of consuming, decide what we want this culminating time to be. It's so important that we each embrace where we are on that journey and what it means for us. And I think especially for Gemini, this is such an important time for you all to really think about who you've become in this journey, what that's felt like. What does it feel like? What has it felt like? I think the North Node, when it's moving through your sign, to me, it's very much like this amplifying spotlight. It will amplify everything. Like it amplifies things that are working. It amplifies things that are not working and that are being asked to leave. It amplifies all these aspects that you're having to look at it all and make choices about what's really true for you. And I think that can be really exciting and a wonderful time. It can also feel really overwhelming. And even you can feel even a little tired at the end of having the North Node in your sign because it's such a time of expansion and growth. And I just wanted to say before we even get into shuffling the cards that as you kind of close out this little era that we've had the last year and a half, it's okay to be wherever you are in that process. There is no XY graph. There is no, well, you completed this. This is the goal. You completed it. You're done. I know it's very tempting to have that nice tidy arc where we had this year and a half and this is all complete. But wherever you are, if you moved slower, maybe you move faster. I don't know. What's faster and what's slower? This is all relative. What I will also say, though, is give yourself credit wherever you have accomplished or grown or moved through something challenging or hard or scary or overwhelming. Give yourself credit for any healing you've done, any rest you have taken. Just really, really take care of all the versions of yourself that have moved through this last year and a half, and be sure to really take the time to do that. Now, here's the other thing, as the North Node starts to move toward leaving your sign, which won't happen once again until January. Also start thinking about who you want to be, how you want to be in the wake of all of that. I think December and January are going to be very introspective. They're going to have a ton of magic in them and be really, really beautiful. There's a kind of almost sparkly, playful energy at work here during December and January, if you know where to look, if you're paying attention, if you're cultivating. And I don't mean that in some kind of rigid, like you need to be doing your spiritual hygiene homework all the time and holding yourself accountable. I actually think it's kind of, yes, you want to be specific. You want to be deliberate about what you're cultivating in yourself, how you're giving yourself grace in closing out this year. how you're opening your heart. Yes, absolutely. Be deliberate, but also be soft. Also chill out. Also don't buy into all this adrenaline rush BS that's out there that's telling you you've got to be prepared and are you ready for this and will you be okay? Ugh, so boring. So boring. I'm sorry. You know what? That's something I'm working with right now. That's something I'm exploring right now. But regardless, it's about holding ourselves softly enough to dream again. Holding ourselves softly enough. 9 of Swords. Holding ourselves softly enough to process the parts of ourselves that maybe have had some hard experiences. That are a little worried. That are a little protective. That's where the magic is right now. It's not dramatic. We're not getting flayed alive here. It's not what's happening in December or January. And death. All right. Just, some light cards to close out 2021. We'll talk about them. We're also going to be working with this Oracle deck. I'm going to pull a third card from Oracle of the Hidden Worlds. It's a beautiful deck. And it's a really nice way to kind of complement whatever messages we're getting. Dawn Watcher. Makes a lot of sense. Caretaker, guardian, support. For me, the death card is just as much about the sunrise in the card as it is about all the other elements. It's one of the key components of the death card. And here we have this Dawn Watcher. Okay. So, what I'm noticing here is that December for Geminis, as it is Sag season, it's mirror season, it's a time of integration, culmination, reflection. It seems to be that with 9 of Swords and death, any parts of yourself that maybe have really been asked, stretched to their limit, really felt just kind of worn out, maybe has felt maybe less hopeful or less energized or a little just weary from trying to protect you, from trying to look out, from trying to analyze all the things and get them all ready. The 9 of Swords and death energy here for me is about we want to really take care of those parts of ourselves. We want to take care of the part of ourselves that is waking up in the night and thinking about all the things and trying to figure out how you said the wrong thing at this thing and then you had to do something else at this thing. And maybe if you had just organized things a little better, this would have happened. That part of ourselves we need to hold very lovingly and very tenderly. I like to approach that part of myself with a sense of curiosity. I ask it questions about what it's trying to do for me, what it thinks is going to happen, and just let it tell me. And a lot of times, it's speaking from a part of ourselves that we learn to develop and rely on at a very young age. These are older patterns that stick with us. And it's really, really about loving that part of ourselves, hearing it out, and also understanding that it's maybe not always the prominent expert on how to live a meaningful life. It's there to try and keep our bodies safe, try to keep us out of danger. And it's important when that card shows up to recognize that if you are having a December where maybe some of those thoughts are coming up, in the Northern Hemisphere, it's the winter. It's a very tender, sensitive month in the year. And we all experience it differently. Some of us are having a ton of fun and joy. Some of us, it's like the hardest time of the year. So it's important that we get really deliberate, I think, as well about taking care of those parts of ourselves that maybe aren't having this amazing time, maybe are feeling tired. And that actually opens the way for more joyful beginning to a new year. And the death card. I always say with this card, one, that the sunrise is just as important as any other element in this card. This is also a card that comes in the middle of the major arcana. It is not about an end point. It's not about the ending of something. It's about a transformation happening mid-journey. It's about that kind of tilt point in life when we realize what we are leaving behind and what we are going toward. And I think that makes so much sense with what we've just been talking about, with this being the closeout of a year and a half of actually quite intense work with Gemini, for the collective and for specifically anybody with Gemini energy. The Death card really is an invitation to find solace and rest with all that has transformed and transmuted in ourselves, and to make enough space to honor that. Where was I? I also, just to ensure that we're taking care of the part of ourselves that is leaving and moving forward. Now, just as the final note here, we obviously have our Oracle card, which is the Dawn Watcher, Caretaker, Guardian, Support. And I think equally important this December is to get really intentional about what you want that dawn to look and feel like, and to check in with it and follow that heart source. Know you are protected, know you are cared for, know you are nurtured and held by something bigger. It's a really helpful worldview, I find. You don't need to know everything, you don't need to have it all figured out, but it's really nice to feel that sense of being cared for as the dawn comes and as a new beginning. And so for me, these cards are not about drama. They are about deep medicine and really taking the time to care for yourself and not run over yourself or steamroll yourself in the pursuit of being better or dominating. And with that, I just have a closing prayer, a closing benediction for the end of the year. Here we go. As we close out this intense and powerful year, and we close out the North Node in Gemini and reflect on all that has been gained, may you feel worthy of all that wants to meet you next. May you release the pressure to constantly be better or to do more and more and more. May this time be one of release and self-acceptance. May your sense of wonder and curiosity lead you forward into what feels right for you. That is what I wish for you this December, my beautiful Gemini friends. I will be offering all that extra support over on my Patreon. It's a really wonderful way to connect, and I'd love to see you on my Instagram and my website as well. So I'll leave all those links below. I love you so much, and I'll see you for our next chat.